want to talk about the problems that some people had with the last episode. Even some Conrad and Belly fans. First of all, I'm fucking sick of people calling Conrad Joe Goldberg. Literally, shut the fuck up. I will say what he does is crazy to us. Y'all are forgetting he knows Belly. She loves a big romantic gesture. She is such a romantic, and she loves these old idyllic movies. Like, she even talked about in the finale that she has like these ideas in her head of how things are gonna go. Our boundaries are not Belly's boundaries. If she would have told him to leave, he would have. Just like he told her, if it's not okay to write letters, let me know and I'll stop. And you can't have it both ways. You criticize him for being too closed off, and now you're making fun of him for taking a chance and clearly stating his intentions and feelings. Would I have liked it if she would have been the one to invite him? Yeah. Because first of all, I knew it would get skewed this way, but her inviting him also defeats the purpose of him showing her just how much he really does care. And he's not going there to blow up her life. Way before he even told her his feelings, he was encouraging her to follow her dreams, to go to Paris. He was telling her, you can do it. And if you're going to criticize Conrad for being in love with Belly for the last 5 years, you need to criticize her too, because she's still in love with him. And again, on one hand, I do wish her feelings were made more clear, but on the other hand, this goes back to people not having any media comprehension. I feel like her feelings should have been obvious if you thought about it for more than just a few seconds. Back to the beginning of the series, when Conrad pushes Belly away for the first time, we see Jeremiah use that opportunity to throw his hat in the ring. He knows she needs to hear the words. She is a words of affirmations girly. So he goes and tells her how he feels. And in this scene, we get to see the only 2 reasons Jeremiah is ever an option. The first reason, and obviously probably the biggest one, was Susanna. Like, it was never right that Susanna told her this when she was so young. But even here, you see her saying, I had always hoped it would be Conrad. So this is already, like, putting Jeremiah in second place. And then the other reason is because he told her his feelings. And you see here that she's shocked. But having just been rejected by Conrad, she likes the feeling of being wanted. Even though he's fucking lying to her. He had not been waiting for her. Dude, you didn't even see her that way until a couple weeks ago. And even when she was with Cam, he didn't care that much. He showed some jealousy, but he was ultimately fine with her being with Cam. It's when he sees that Conrad has feelings for her that he gets upset. That he now suddenly has to have her. And everybody talks about the firework. The firework wasn't even my biggest issue. My biggest issue was that he immediately went to Nicole and lied and tried to sabotage. He tried to get Conrad away from her. And he knows going into this that Belly has always loved Conrad. He acknowledges that. And he knows Conrad has feelings for Belly. He doesn't care about either of their feelings. And then he has the audacity to act shocked when she does choose Conrad. And he guilt trips her so hard that she delays starting a relationship with the guy she has always loved because she doesn't want to hurt Jeremiah's feelings. And I've actually seen Team Jeremiah say that Belly would have never gotten with Conrad if he had told her when Conrad went to ask for his blessing or whatever. And that is just straight up fucking false. Me and Conrad would have ended up together any way you go about it. And she made that clear when they were fighting on the beach. She liked the fact that he went to Jeremiah. She probably would have wanted to know that because it showed how much Conrad cared about her. She literally says, I would have fought for us. And meanwhile, all of the time she was with Conrad, she was trying to reach out to Jeremiah. She still wanted to be his friend, but he was ignoring her because his ego was bruised. And when they have that fight on the side of the road where they're having to change a tire, he was like yelling at her saying, I needed you and you weren't there. She tried to be. He wouldn't accept it. And by doing that, he made it clear to her that he only wanted her in his life one way. In season 2, when they are building toward a relationship between Belly and Jeremiah, he has been more available and he has told her his feelings. Something that Conrad didn't do. Conrad is at fault for that. Jeremiah had been more open with his feelings for Belly, but that's only because he was trying to obtain her. And like I said, she liked the feeling of being wanted. She needs that reassurance, and Jeremiah could give that to her at the time, even though he had a history of completely icing her out when she didn't want him in that way. And season 2 was also right after Susanna died. With Belly and Jeremiah, you just see this trauma bond being built. And when we see them in the beginning of season 3, they are extremely codependent. And this is off topic from where I started. I'm trying to provide context for where her mind was at when Conrad showed up in Paris. She had been in this all-consuming relationship that was built on mutual grief. And I think that was the reason she was so sure about the wedding to Jeremiah at first. It was easy to stick to the status quo. It was easy to stay in a codependent relationship. The hardest thing to do in that situation is let go of each other. That's the reason why they were both so stubborn about it, despite the fact that as the season goes on, we see Belly and Jeremiah not agreeing on much, and Belly having to give up so much for him. When her relationship with Jeremiah does end, she's in this limbo that she has never been in before. And when Conrad shows up at her door in Paris, telling her all of the things she has always wanted to hear, she can't be sure about it. And I think her going into psychology has helped her a lot. She acknowledges what Susanna said to her when she was young. Your mom wanted me with you. Your mom always wanted us to be family. And some of her insecurities in that moment were because Conrad didn't have a great history of telling her how he felt, or doing it at a terrible time. But some of those insecurities were because of Jeremiah, because Jeremiah was the one always connecting Belly to his mom. He has said over and over in season 3 that Belly basically replaced Susanna for him. And she did not want that with Conrad. She has recognized, since she's become independent, how much of an unhealthy dynamic that really was. She doesn't want Conrad to feel obligated to love her. And then, a whole other part of it is because she has been on her own for a year, and because she has grown so much and has made so many good changes for herself, that she doesn't want to revert back to the way things were with Jeremiah, and also the way things were with Conrad the first time. She definitely lost herself in Jeremiah, but I think she also really was consumed with her first relationship with Conrad. That was something that she had imagined for so long and had so many expectations that didn't come true. And she just doesn't want to lose herself. That's the biggest thing, and she does not want to regress. And I think she associates her time with Conrad with feeling like she was the one who loved more, because he was never fully open with his true feelings. And so going back to the fact that Conrad did come to Paris, that was fucking crazy to us. But she's the kind of person who loves big romantic gestures. And I think she needed to see him make the effort, first of all, to confront the feelings she had been avoiding, but also to know that he does love her as much as she loves him. That's why we've seen her all uninterested. She's never been uninterested. She's always felt like she's too interested. But by the time she's running to get on the train, she's realizing that she has changed, and she has grown, and she has seen his changes and his growth and how he's open with his feelings now. So she can have the life that she's built for herself and still have the person that she has loved. For both of them, it's no longer either or. They can both have what they want. And this is why I hate people saying that, all of her development down the drain. How can you say that when there's literally a conversation of her telling him, I've built this life here, I'm not gonna leave it, and him saying, I don't expect you to. And then there's this whole photo album of him visiting her in Paris for Christmas. If anything, this is keeping her growth completely intact. She is choosing herself, and she's also choosing him. She is not giving up anything for anyone anymore. This is actually so easy to see if you just paid closer attention to it. Bring back media literacy. Bear with me on this response because I just woke up. To be honest, I wasn't really planning on replying to this, just because like the past 2 or 3 days specifically, I've just like kind of gotten to the point where it wasn't really fun or productive, I guess, discussing the differences between Jeremiah and Conrad anymore. I just kind of got to a point where I'm just like, I give up. Like, we're all gonna believe the things that we want to believe, and that's fine. And just to be clear, like, going into this video, I'm trying to be completely civil, and I'm trying to fully listen as well. And the reason I did decide to make a video reply to this is because I saw a video of yours come across my For You page this morning, and I thought I recognized your name, and then I went back looking through and I found this comment, and it's the video where you're talking about Team Conrad girls being male-centered. Not gonna lie, was totally offended. I mean, not completely, but yeah, that's not really something I consider myself being. I will say, I did, like, listen to the video, trying to, like, hear out your point of view. One thing you did say is that, Conrad fans don't listen to Belly's point of view at all. And 2 years ago, you probably would have been talking about me. Looking back onto when season 2 was airing, that would probably be accurate. This season, though, I've actually actively been trying to think about Belly's point of view, and it's actually one of the reasons I've grown to dislike Jeremiah even more. Like, I've gotten mad at Belly this season, frustrated with her, but then the reasons I get past that are because I try to put myself in her place. The fact that Belly has such a lack of identity this season, and their relationship is so codependent, and it feels like he's replacing his mom with Belly. And another thing you mentioned in your video is something that you mentioned in here too. You say that Team Conrad feels like Conrad has some sort of claim and stake and dibs over Belly. And I guess that's what you think I believe from the video that this is, like, linked to, the video that you commented on. And you may still think that when I'm done explaining myself, but I wanted to clarify. I don't think Conrad has any dibs to her just because she liked him first. If Belly genuinely doesn't want to be with Conrad, she shouldn't be with Conrad. I do want to address a few things, though. In my video attached to this, I didn't say that Jeremiah didn't have feelings for her. I actually agree that he did before he threw the firework. Well, we're definitely not gonna agree on this part. I don't know if feelings would be the right word, but he was definitely attracted to her. Yes, he was, like, showing jealousy. I definitely admit that. But even though he did that, he still respected that they were together, and even eventually was friendly towards Cam. My whole point was, and the reason I think that he did pursue Belly to try and win something over Conrad, is because he knew both of their feelings. He knew, everybody knew, that Belly had loved Conrad for years. And I'm not saying that because I think Conrad has dips on her. I'm just saying that because it's a fact. But him seeing them almost kiss showed him that Conrad had feelings for her as well. And if he knew that Conrad had feelings for her, and if he knew that Belly had always had feelings for Conrad, why would he try to sabotage that? Everybody always brings up the firework thing, and yeah, I think that was a little crazy. But I can almost understand that reaction more because it was impulsive. It's more of what Jeremiah does in the following days that makes me mad. The next day, he wakes up and sees that Conrad is happy for the first time in a long time, and he knows why. And he immediately goes into sabotage mode. He lies to Nicole to get Conrad away from Belly. So yeah, that to me is absolutely him wanting to go after Belly so Conrad won't have her. And that's why I say in a video attached to this that I don't necessarily feel sorry for Jeremiah, because he knew both of their feelings going into this. And yeah, he may have feelings for Belly, but if his feelings for Belly and his want for Belly's happiness trumped his inferiority complex, then it wouldn't matter to him that they were together. I mean, it would hurt, but he would let them be together without trying to tear them apart, because, you know, you think he'd want the girl he likes to be happy, you think he'd want his brother to be happy. And yes, I know all of this. I know the Adam thing. I've talked about it on my page before. Like, that's one of the few things I empathize with Jeremiah on, because Adam is absolutely 110% the worst character on this show. He is a piece of shit, and their problems as brothers started way before Belly got involved with them. It was Adam's fault, and it was Susanna's fault too, but it's like mainly Adam's fault. So yes, I know this. Completely understand why he has that inferiority complex. This is hard to say because they are teenagers in season 1, but it's still showing up today when they're in their 20s. I feel like at some point you've got to be like, this isn't my brother's fault, this is my dad's fault. Why do I have so much resentment towards my brother? And that brings me to hiding Susanna's cancer from Jeremiah. I don't think that should be put on Conrad. I will say, I will give you that he should absolutely tell Jeremiah about Adam cheating. One reason is because I just want him to blow Adam's life the fuck up. Like, I hate Adam. But another reason is, like, yeah, I feel like that is absolutely something that Conrad can tell Jeremiah. That's some information that Jeremiah should have. With the cancer thing, I feel like that blame falls squarely on Susanna's shoulders. She should have told both of them right after she found out. Like, I don't think it's Conrad's responsibility to have to tell his brother that their mom has cancer. And yes, it is shitty and it sucks that Conrad knows and Jeremiah didn't. But I also feel like it's fair to say that Conrad was keeping it a secret because Susanna was. He didn't know why she was keeping it. But if your mom is keeping something from you, you have to assume she has a good reason why. And I can understand why people thought Jeremiah should know that. I think both of them should have been told right away. But I also think it's like a far more nuanced and complicated situation to fully blame Conrad for that. Like, their parents should be responsible for them, not the other way around. Both Jeremiah and Conrad have had the burden of feeling responsible for their parents placed on their shoulders. Oh, and I completely forgot to address something over here. It says both boys went after Belly after being notified that she was interested in the other. Conrad, not really. Contrary to popular belief of Team Jeremiah, I can admit Conrad's flaws. I don't like everything that he's done in this show. And so I do admit, like, the scene at the party is a little iffy. But Conrad didn't have any facts. Stephen told him a theory Shayla had. To me, it more so implied that Jeremiah was interested, not that Belly was. But with Jeremiah, like, he saw it, like, literally right in front of his eyes that they were about to kiss. Also, you mentioned Chuck and Blair in your video. I actually found that pretty hilarious. Not because you don't have a point about Chuck and Blair, but because we're on completely opposite sides in The Summer I Turned Pretty. But I fucking hate Chuck Bass. Like, the way people still love Chuck Bass so much genuinely irritates the fuck out of me, because he is one of my most hated TV characters of all time. I actually made a post the other day on where I stand on certain love triangles, and I wrote this. And I could be mistaken, and I definitely don't know where to find it, but I want to say that Jenny actually said she liked Dan and Blair. All of this to say, I personally don't see the resemblance between Chuck and Blair and Billy and Conrad, but again, that's just me. And like I said, I genuinely don't want to argue. I just made this because I saw your male-centered video and wanted to clarify some things I said in my previous video. And I know this is a long video, and I don't know if anyone's going to listen to the entirety of it. But the last thing I want to say is, like, just because I like certain things in fiction doesn't mean I would go for the same things in real life. prime example is the show Rivals and age gap relationships. The couple in that is 20 and 37. I would hate that fucking shit in real life, but it just works on that show. So yeah, I just think it's important for everybody to remember that this is fiction. Because she is not the main problem. Yes, she was in love with his brother, but this relationship had its own problems, and it was emotionally abusive. Emotionally abusive. Abuse requires malicious intent. I'm not defending all of his actions, but he never set out to hurt her. See, they had to post this because Jeremiah fans were taking everything at face value. Just like they've been doing all season. After this scene last week, I was seeing stuff like, oh, she doesn't play about Jeremiah. She doesn't play about her man. And all season, I've been seeing stuff like, oh yeah, she's just all in on this wedding. That's why it doesn't make sense for her to switch up her feelings. Because we've only seen her be so sure about Jeremiah. Like, no, that's actually not the case. You're just refusing to look underneath the surface because you know you won't like what you see. Because if you had been paying attention, you would have seen that Belly has been in denial this entire time. Her saying this was less about Jeremiah and more about her not being able to confront her feelings, but also her not willing to be hurt that badly again. Because she mentions Jeremiah loves her, but she didn't mention anything about her feelings for Jeremiah. And this is like one reason that I'm a little upset they haven't had more of her narration this season, because she hasn't been telling us how she truly feels, and everyone on that side has been taking that to mean that, oh, she's 100% in love with Jeremiah and has no feelings for Conrad. No. But at the same time, I kind of like the lack of narration. It's an interesting choice, I'll say that. But the choice itself is just showing you how many people either need things totally spelled out for them, or they take the lack of narration as being open to interpretation. Which, I mean, I guess it is. You can see what you want to see. But they use the lack of narration to turn it in their favor when we all know that, you know, she's gonna end up with Conrad. This was a book, and this narration was in the book. I don't know. It's like they want to hate on Jenny or want to hate on the story and discredit it by saying it doesn't make sense. Her switch up is crazy, and they're destroying Jeremiah to prop Conrad up when, like, none of that is true. Like, everything had actually been right in front of you. The dysfunction in her relationship with Jeremiah was very obvious from the beginning. The fact that she still had feelings for Conrad was very obvious from the beginning. And Jeremiah, being the way he is, was very obvious from the beginning. And when I say beginning there, I mean season 1. And I think one of the reasons she's still even considering going through with this wedding right now is because she cares about what people think, because of the way it looks, because she has been with him for 4 years, and her brain is making it seem like it's logical to stay with someone because of history, even if you aren't necessarily in love with them. And Taylor herself was telling her after, you know, the cheating thing, like, don't throw away 4 years of whatever. There's also the fact that this whole wedding has been planned. And she's probably thinking, I have to go through with it now. Everything's been paid for. So many people are showing up. The number of women in real life who have done that, who have gone through with a wedding just because it seemed like the right thing to do, despite how they actually felt. And that is another reason why she's so mad at Conrad. Because I am a Conrad fan who actually believes she had every right to be mad. I believe that Conrad should have told her that, but I also think it was a selfish act, and it was the worst timing possible. But yeah, he's telling her this now, 2 days before her wedding, and she's pissed because now she realizes she can have what she always pictured, what she always wanted, the person she still loves after all of this time. But you're telling me that now, when I've already planned a wedding, when I had already kind of like resigned myself to this life, when I invested 4 years in someone because I thought you didn't want me. Yeah, she's pissed. But in another way, this is kind of a favor to her. And again, it's a very selfish thing for Conrad to do. But this is the catalyst for her, like, making those hard decisions, facing her actual feelings, and actually deciding what the right thing to do for her is and not for anyone else. Anyway, all I'm saying is that this is so much more nuanced than Jeremiah fans want to believe. And I know we Conrad fans can, like, read too much into things sometimes, but most of the time, I don't think we do, because that's just how Jenny is, and that's how she set up this story. You have to look beyond what she's saying to people. You have to look at her actions as well, and maybe they're just not used to looking beneath the surface, because Belly and Jeremiah's relationship is extremely surface level. Maybe that's why they think Jeremiah and Belly's relationship is easier and healthier. They're more carefree with each other because they don't get into the nitty-gritty of real life things. But yeah, what Belly wants has always been very obvious, but it just seems like she tricked some people and even tricked herself into believing she had to go with this other choice.
Conrad told them early on maybe his mom would have gotten treatment earlier and wouldn't have died.
Holy shit. I have officially heard it all. Whoever called into Chicks in the Office and said that, normally I don't like to do this, but I'm gonna this time. You're fucking stupid. And not the kind of stupid where you can't help it. You're far worse. You're willfully stupid. Why are we acting like this 17-year-old is the only person on the fucking earth who knows his mom has cancer? I think if I remember right, oh yeah, she knew too. She's the one who made the decision not to tell them. And it's not his responsibility to tell his little brother that their mom has cancer. That was all on Susanna. She should have told them both right when she found out. I'm like so baffled. Literally blaming Susanna says on Conrad. Does she not have free will? Does she not think for herself? Jeremiah learning to be a cheater from what? What kind of fucking mental gymnastics? Withholding information is just as bad as cheating. Therefore, Jeremiah learned to cheat from Conrad. He learned to cheat from Conrad by Conrad withholding information. Those two aren't the same things. I don't care if you think withholding information is worse. They're still not the same thing. So how did he learn that from I literally can't with willful ignorance. My biggest pet peeve, I swear to God. The most intelligent thing that person said was admitting the fact that Jeremiah's a cheater. And to the chick who said Belly looked disgusted, and she literally said disgusted when she went to the bathroom after she and Conrad got it on in Paris. Normally I wouldn't say shit like this, but you're a fucking idiot, okay? And I blocked you, so who knows, you may or may not see this. You may have another account, I don't care. But fuck off. Like, we can accept that she was fucking Jeremiah when they were together. She was not disgusted after she and Conrad had sex. She was scared because he dropped the forever bomb. Y'all notice how she was like fine before Conrad said you're stuck with me forever. I swear, y'all will do anything except think about Belly's actual feelings. She wasn't disgusted. You want her to be disgusted. She wants to be loved the way that she loves. She didn't want to be loved because he felt obligated to love her. Like, their past relationship does contribute to her insecurities, but her relationship with Jeremiah also is contributing to the insecurities she's having in that moment. Like, she knows that what she and Jeremiah had was like a codependent trauma bond because of Susanna. Like, she knows that there was love there between her and Jeremiah, but it's not the kind of romantic love that she wants. Susanna said Belly was always destined to be with one of her boys, and Jeremiah always connected Belly with his mom. And because her relationship with Jeremiah was connected to grief, it like consumed her. She didn't want to do that again. And because Conrad is who she's always wanted, who she's always loved, she needed to make sure that that wasn't the case with him because it would hurt so much more. Oh, and also the text messages inside the bathroom. She heard her phone go off, so she was reading her notifications. Like, yeah, her thumb scrolled because she was checking to see if there were more text messages. Not necessarily from Jeremiah. Maybe she was checking to see if Jared texted her. Because, yeah, she still wants to be his friend. But it's not like she was fucking bereft after she saw that he hadn't texted yet. Y'all are really, like, reaching with that one. Like, if she really, really missed Jeremiah that much, she could invite him to Paris. Or she could have come home when he told her to. Told being the key word because he was really fucking rude about it. So, yeah, fuck you for saying that she looked disgusted. Taking away her choice in this situation, as if she wasn't just with Conrad very enthusiastically.